So, a wee unboxing tonight, and I have got myself drawn. I've got myself drawn so that I could look at buildings, because that's the thing that I'm interested in, but also to support the sketching and painting and so on that I do, and to sort of bring the drone photography into that so that it can actually help me with the drawings and the paintings that I actually create. So after a lot of research, I picked this particular one, POTENSIC LT. It's got a 12 megapixel camera and it can do 2K video. It's not the most expensive drone out there. I think I got a good deal on it, and you know, that's really what I normally tend to go for, is that I tend to look at something, get something of a reasonable quality, but look at the price. That's important to me because it is a hobby and I don't want to spend too much money on the hobby. You know, whether it's by art materials or whether it's this, I always have an eye for value. So it's arrived from Amazon and it's really nicely packaged. It was packaged up in an outer container by Amazon and was protected as you would come to expect. So this is all sort of wrapped in clear film, and the outer box tells you a little bit more about it, that it's under 250 grams in weight. It's got a 40-minute battery life and it comes with a controller and so on. It's got surge fly to get out of particular issues, and it's also got a sort of electronic stabilization of the film, you know, via software and so on, and obviously the camera. So POTENSIC currently have 3 drones of this sort of quality, and this is the cheapest of the 3. At the top of the range they have the Atom, which is a 4K camera, 12 megapixel, and it's on a 3-axis gimbal. So that's the big difference. The one thing is though, that battery in that drone doesn't last as long as the battery in this drone. So there are slight trade-offs, that I've gone for a slightly lower quality camera and a longer lasting battery, which is the thing that appealed to me. So I'll now begin to open it up and we'll just see what's inside it. So I'm really excited to be doing this with you, and we'll see what's in. So all comes with a clear film and so on, so it all looks good. And we'll take this open. I've already downloaded POTENSIC's app on my iPhone, because what we'll see is that the controller works with the iPhone. I won't be able to use it like that just now for this video because I've got my current iPhone filming this. So unfortunately the phone can't be in 2 places at the one time. So the cardboard packaging and so on is, you know, it's good quality cardboard, good quality printing and so on in it. So if you did buy it for a present, I'm sure that people would be, you know, very happy with it. So we open that up and fold that back, and the very first thing that's in it is some degree of instructions, and it obviously tells you things that you have to do in terms of the operation, but also safety and so on, because obviously it is a drone, it is a flying object, and you have to be careful. So I have looked at the CAA regulations and so on, and before I fly it I'll be registering it and so on. This basically arrived today, so hopefully I'll be doing that at some point tomorrow. and there are a variety of specs and parameters and so on in there. So that's, again, it sort of shows that it's sort of thoughtful packaging, because that important stuff's right at the very top. So we now lift this tray out, and I think the good thing is that this packaging can also keep it safe when I'm actually storing it and so on. I may well get a bag in due course, but we'll get round to that at some point after I've registered it and started to fly. So this next part is that it does come with a number of spare blades for the drone, and it also comes with a number of cables, and one of the cables in there is to connect the phone to the remote control. The other thing that I could see is that there is a small screwdriver and screws for the drone blades as well. So that goes in there. Some silica gel to keep it all dry. And then in here, I extract this one out. We then have the remote control. So this is quite nice. And you could begin to see that it has a gap in the middle here. It's got two antennae which fold up, and you then have the controllers on either side of that. But this basically slides apart and the phone fits in the central section, but it's wired in, so that gives it really good control. The actual knobs for the controllers are stored here so that it can actually be stored more compactly, but you could see in the foam cutouts that they've actually got cutouts for these here and here as well. So that's that part. And then we then have the drone itself, and what I should say is that this drone is lighter than 250 grams. You could see with my hands that it is really quite compact, and the battery is in that end and the camera is at this end, and because it's 250 grams it just means that I need to get an operator ID, and that is the base level of the CAA requirements. It's the simplest one, but the CAA on their website have a lot of guidance, and I'm going to be looking at that way before I actually begin to use that. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and actually as part of a hobby, in a way, that learning process is really as much of part of the joy of the thing as anything else. And there looks as though there is something else in here which I have not yet opened up, or maybe it's just a blank. Could be just a blank. Yep, it's just a blank. So that's maybe for things like batteries and so on in due course. So I'll just put that blank back in there. So now that I have taken it out of the main box, I'm now going to start opening up the plastic wraps, and I may well keep these as well, because that then enables me to keep it all nice and tidy and so forth. So this is the controller, and as I said, we have the antennae there that fold back, and this expands so that you can then clip your phone in. And I think I've actually got somewhere handy an old phone, which actually I may well end up using, and this is quite a big one, so I mean, oh yeah, it does fit, so that's fine. So you could see that I would have the controllers and so on. That's quite comfortable, and the phone in there, and you then wire it in. So that's interesting, good to know. So I'll be able to reuse that phone for that particular purpose, so that's good. And actually, the weight of the controller, I think, is good, and actually the build quality of the controller looks really nice. It's nicely textured. The plastics all feel good, feel really quite sturdy, but the shaping of it is really quite comfortable. You could see that there's a number of switches and also dials. I think that particular one is to change the angle of the camera once it's actually flying, and there's on and off switches, and there's also buttons to return safe to home and so on. So this is quite nice. I do like that, and these then just fold back down to make it a bit more compact, so for storage and so on. So that's nice, and it all looks very good. So I'm pleased with that. And obviously the most important one, the actual drone itself. So just open this up. So there's a protective buffer there that you have to remove before you use it. This is the camera here, and they supply it with this little strap, which is quite standard, I think, amongst drones, so that you can actually just retain it in a compact form. And it obviously has its battery in there, and you could see that that is a USB-C battery. So I'll be getting that charged up shortly. Obviously today, this is me doing the unboxing straight from the box, so I had no idea what was actually really inside it. So I think there is an order in terms of folding these blades out, and I think I probably got the right order. And you can now begin to see it coming out like so, and that's fine. So that's it to its sort of full extent, and you can see the front, and there is a gimbal here to adjust the angle of the camera so that you could capture what you need to capture. It's just that it's basically in one direction, so it doesn't offer any additional abilities in terms of stabilization and so on. You could also see that below the blades you've then got the legs that actually support it when it's landing. So that's that, and it sits very neatly. So hopefully over the coming weeks I'm going to be sharing how I actually get on with this. And as I say, I'm hoping to be looking at buildings. You know, my big thing here in Scotland is looking at sort of vernacular buildings and so on. And I do like drawing from different angles and also from the air and so on. And I think this is really just going to add, obviously, an extra dimension to that. So I think I'm really going to enjoy it. So once again, this is the POTENSIC Atom LT. Certainly I'm impressed by the feel of it. You know, at the moment all I can tell is just the feel. It feels robust. This part obviously has to be light to be functional, but it feels robust. The plastics feel good, and ultimately that's what we need to have. All of the motors here on the blades and so on are all brushless motors, so that provides additional capacity and so on. It doesn't drain the battery quite as fast as brushed motors do. So as I say, I'm really looking forward to this, and I think this is going to be something that I'm really going to enjoy. And as I say, I haven't gone by any means, for the most expensive one, you could spend thousands of pounds on these things. And I know that I've gone for an entry level one, but I've gone, I think, for a good entry level one, and hopefully that's going to be the right compromise for me, because everybody has their own priorities, and certainly for these things, because it is a hobby, I don't want to spend too much money on it, so that's why I've made this particular choice. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll see whether I've made the right choice. I'm sure I have. So thank you very much for watching this. I look forward to speaking to you sometime soon. Good night.